Folks, we have here live, not live, actually, from the Daily Wire presses. This is from January 2nd, 2021. This actually took place before the storming of the Capitol, when a number of public figures, including Donald Trump and some compatriots of the Daily Wire, encouraged thousands of people to engage in seditious behavior, storming the Capitol, threatening to kill or take hostages of elected officials. This is before all that. And they're asking the question, are leftists actually interested in unifying with conservatives? To which the immediate thing I think of is, what is a leftist? What do they mean when they say leftist? Because I have a feeling like to the Daily Wire, you could find like a hashtag the resistance still with her Hillary Clinton stan, and they would like accuse this person of propagating the words of Marx on American soil, you know? I don't know if these people have the firmest grip on what a leftist is, but you know what? I want to take a shot here. I want to see. Because for me, I don't want to work with conservatives. My motto has always been, work together on solutions, not against problems. It's easy to agree on a problem, but then you have different solutions, and well, what do we do with that, you know? The problem is, this is my issue, is that conservatism in the United States is an ideology exclusively designed to make the world worse. There are no like beneficial characteristics. There's nothing good about it. It's indefensible, and everyone who subscribes to it is indefensible in their subscription to it. So from my perspective, there's really no fucking reason to work with conservatives at all. But it's interesting to me that they're asking this question now that Donald Trump has lost the election, because Donald Trump has spent the past 4 years being literally the most divisive president in American history, excluding Civil War times. I mean, holy shit. Donald Trump ran. Remember in 2015, he ran on being a negotiator. He's like, I'm a businessman. I'm going to work with Congress. I'm going to negotiate them. I'm going to show them the art of the deal. He said that back in 2015, 2016. That was one of his big selling points, that he was a businessman. He was a negotiator, and he was going to get this broken, failing Congress to work together. And what do we get in the subsequent 4 years? The most aggressively partisan, anti-Democrat president who just shit talks half the country nonstop, doesn't even pretend to be the president of the entire country. So now you ask for unity 18 days out from Joe Biden, as of the time of this video is publishing.
Can you compromise on climate change?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There is no compromise.
Fuck you. Yeah. Yeah, good. Fuck you.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in
That's some good audio.
Now the election is over, the Democrats have been pushing the message of togetherness and unity. But unity on whose terms? How important is it?
Those are so cute. What a fucking pair of fashionistas. Holy shit. The fucking purple tiger skin and the lemon wedge earrings. Holy shit. Fucking JoJo stands coming out here. That's some sick shit. Yeah, the drip.
The value of toleration and accepting of other people.
It's the most important thing.
Oh no, we're getting the tolerance paradox. Do you believe in tolerating people? Yeah, I do. I am a neo-Nazi. Give me a hug. No. Leftists owned. Yeah, we all know how this is going to go.
Extremely important. You know, this divisiveness in this country is has become terrible.
You know, be compassionate and understanding, and be as supportive as you can. I think it's very important.
Very important.
Yeah, I think it's extremely.
This is such a low IQ gotcha too, because you could do this with any characteristic. Hey, do you think it's important to be kind to people? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, cool. My name is Amaral Figueroa, and I am a rapist. I love raping people. Do you want to like go out and like get some coffee, like have like a nice conversation or something? No. I don't see you don't like being kind to people, do you? Obviously, when you say something like, I enjoy being kind to people, or I like being tolerant of people, this is conditional on these people being deserving of these characteristics. If you've done something, which means you're no longer deserving of that treatment, then obviously you should, like, this is like, do you like freedom, but you think that murderers should be jailed? Like, this is such a low IQ. God, I can't believe people fall for this. whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. They haven't actually done the gotcha yet. But we're going to wait for them to do it, and then I'm going to say, curious.
Very important.
I'll never understand fully why people spend all their time, you know, trying to hate on one group.
It's very important. It's one of the most important things. I'm one of the most tolerant people because I'm one of the most empathetic people.
Okay, that's a pretty cringe thing to say, though.
Do Republicans have any value at all?
No, they're delusional.
True.
I mean, they're literally delusional.
Yeah,
they're
true.
really, really selfish human beings.
True.
Oh, I think they're disgusting.
Are they racist?
Yeah,
Misogynistic?
Yeah.
a lot of misogyny.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Mindless or like
Racist.
There's a lot of immorality in them.
Again, I can just imagine all of the conservatives watching this, and they're like, yeah, like the feeding the victim complex. Like, yeah, they hate. Dude, you deserve all of this. Your victim complex is unwarranted. You've earned all of the derision that you get. Kind people will hate you. Good people will hate you. I'm sorry, you earned this. You're a conservative.
Living thing on this earth is a miracle.
Republicans! How is compromise on issues, on major issues?
I think it's important. Yeah, super important. Yeah. You know, it's not always going to be fair. You know, it's not, and not everybody's going to be happy by the end. But it's important to talk things through.
Otherwise, how do we unify?
Yeah, exactly.
I do think it's important to find compromises.
Yeah.
And I think that the country would be in much better shape.
If we do compromise.
Being able to compromise and to come up with a solution is like the best thing you can do.
I feel like
Okay, so we're getting set up here, okay? Do you think that compromise is a virtue? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, would you be willing to work with people who want slavery back? Oh, no, you wouldn't? Oh, like, I'm gonna be real with you. Move your fucking box. Oh, yeah, do you need to see the... Yeah, here you go. So you can see the subtitles fully. My bad. There you go.
people in that position should compromise more.
How important is the value of compromising to achieve unity?
This woman's mask is triggering the fuck out of me. I know she's wearing two masks, or there's like two straps to it, but it's like dangling and it's barely off the tip of her nose.
It's important. I mean, you do have to compromise. You do have to compromise.
In unifying, should we compromise with one another in order to understand?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And there are areas of common ground. You know, they can reach areas of common
We
ground.
could compromise on certain things.
There is compromise.
Like, what issue would you compromise on?
Okay, this is actually a good question because a lot of people can't answer it. This I think is a legitimate question, okay? So people like the virtue of compromise. Nobody actually wants to compromise. Usually when they think of the virtue of compromise, they think of other people compromising with them. Very few people actually think about, like, what values am I willing to compromise on, you know? You can see a lot of this in the online lefty communities. This is a very difficult question for anybody to answer. So if she flubs on this, or if anybody else does, I don't fault them, but this remains a good question.
I don't know. There are hundreds of them, you know. For instance, you know, the climate change, which is at the top of the list. And
So there's a compromise. to be
Okay,
had.
well, okay.
There is a compromise.
Okay,
to be had,
okay.
Yes.
So, for example, like, they would give on, like, cafe standards. and
That
then
sort of
you
thing.
would give on, like, fracking, that kind of thing.
Well, fracking.
Wait, I'm not familiar with the cafe standards. What does that refer to? Corporate average fuel economy. Oh, okay, I remember this. I just didn't remember the acronym. Okay, yeah.
Is a
You would
thing.
give on, like, fracking, that kind of thing.
Well, fracking is a touchy issue.
Can you compromise on something around climate change to give the Republicans something?
Yeah, it would depend on what it was. For instance, they want to go into
I do resent the premise here because the underlying question is: would you be willing to let us make the world a little bit worse if we agreed to let the world be a little bit better? You know, like that's what we're talking about right now. Like, we'll give you a good thing, but we need to keep at least one bad thing. We need at least one bad thing to stay. You know.
to Anwar, the Arctic National Reserve, to start digging that up.
So you're okay with that?
No, I am not.
okay.
No.
Is there something you're willing to compromise on climate change to give the Republicans something they want?
Well, they could, you know, as far as carbon emissions goes, they could.
So another issue with this, and this is why I sympathize with a woman, is that an average citizen has no fucking idea about the dozens and dozens and dozens of like practical regulations and laws that relate to climate change and what we need to do about it. So she can't answer this question because she wouldn't even know where to compromise. I could actually make compromises in this respect, okay? I'm not super well versed on like climate change as an issue, but if I looked through like these dozens and dozens of things, I could think like, okay, if there was no way to get this law passed without a concession, maybe I could concede this. And it would have to be like utilitarian calculus, but it would only be because the Republicans are stonewalling it otherwise. Obviously the ideal would be to get everything that I want with no compromise. Fuck compromise. But if I had to, I could probably like do the math. Like it could get more benefit from this, and this is a more obvious choice than this, and blah blah blah. But doing that that requires like a pretty intensive understanding of these issues. So yeah,
they could do something with that if there were carbon emissions coming from a certain state. They would have to pay extra or something of that nature. It would have to.
So you'd be willing to have a little more
the fact that she could say that, the fact that she was able to say that sentence means this woman is more well informed than 95% of the American population.
a little more carbon emission?
No.
Oh, you wouldn't. Okay. So there really isn't anything you're willing to compromise on.
Well,
Wait. What the fuck you talk? Wait, hold on. Okay, so she just said that she would be okay with paying extra to compensate for carbon emissions. And then he said, so you'd be okay with having a little more carbon emission. That's not what she said. She said that she would be willing to set up a pay structure to incentivize less carbon emissions, not that she would want there to be more carbon emissions emitted. How is it a compromise if the end result is more carbon emissions being emitted? What a fucking moron. He actually couldn't follow what she didn't phrase it perfectly, but like, that should be pretty evident to anybody who knows enough about this to make a living off these issues. She didn't say, what compromise are you making if you get more carbon emissions?
A little more carbon emission?
No.
Oh, you wouldn't. Okay. So there really isn't anything you're willing to compromise on.
Well, I don't know.
I'm getting the feeling that you don't fully understand the meaning.
Fuck this cunt, dude. This woman knows more about this shit than like most Americans. You're clearly just bullying her because you wanted to get the answers that you want. This is pretty dumb.
The word compromise. Can you compromise?
And then we leave. We don't get a response to that. He just throws it out, and then we don't get to hear her dunk on him afterwards.
On climate change?
Absolutely not. There is no compromise.
Fine, good.
Do you see yourself compromising on climate change, for example?
Oh, no.
No, I don't see how we're at a point now where there's no compromise. If you're in coal, learn how to make solar panels or whatever.
True.
You know, but that's compromise. That's as far as I go.
There really isn't room for compromise.
I mean...
How is this supposed to be an own? If you ask people, do you believe in compromise? And they say yes, and then you point out the single most important global issue of apocalyptic significance, and you're like, so you'd be willing to compromise on this, right? Of course, like, them saying no is totally reasonable. By the way, the entire history of climate action in America has been one of compromise, okay? We progressives have never once in American history gotten a zero compromise solution. We have never gotten what we want, okay? We have the power and the entrenched position has always been that of international corporations, the oil, the coal, the gas, and we have never ever gotten an opportunity to get what we want without having to make concessions. So the idea that we're the ones who aren't willing to compromise is fucking hysterical. It's so delusional. Where you have like shows like Prager University, where in between making videos justifying slavery, they have little talk shows hosted by fucking Dennis Prager, who's funded by oil billionaires. We have moguls and media outlets where people are pals with these gas and oil companies, and then like you go up to some random fucking people on the street and you accost them for not being willing to compromise. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, 100% no.
Can you compromise on your...
Back to this woman.
Well, I can't see not giving it to everyone. Well, there can be compromises, but the compromise can't be... There are
not
people
covering every single
not
person.
covering every single person.
Can you compromise?
Wait. Did she... Wait.
Well, I can't see not giving it to everyone. Well, there can be compromises, but the compromise can't be. There are
Not
people
covering every single
not
person.
covering every single.
Yeah, so she's willing to make compromises, probably on the quality of care or the type of care, as long as everybody receives some kind of coverage. You know, like European countries. Okay.
person.
Can you compromise on universal health care?
No, I mean, ultimately, no, I
Based.
don't believe so.
Is there room to compromise on universal health care?
I guess not, no. No, other people, governments can do it, so I don't understand why we can't.
It's called universal health care. I mean,
So many issues that I feel like there is a very clear answer, and this is one of them.
What about an issue like abortion?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty clear cut. It's yes, or I think
There's no room.
Yeah, there's no.
There's
Yeah.
no room to compromise.
well, hey, dude, why don't you propose a compromise? First of all, what compromise? Abortion is already legal in every state, though you've been trying to pick away at that for a while. What compromise? We won. We won 50 years ago. What compromise are you looking for? In this case, you are the one who is asking for a concession from us. What are we getting? What compromise is there? The current position is one where it's legal. What do you want from us? That's not a compromise. You're just asking for something for free. That's not what a compromise is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is there a compromise to be had on abortion?
No.
No, it's their body. It's absolutely their body.
We're taking away.
I love he's like redefining compromise as giving us stuff for nothing.
right to abortion. I can't compromise on that.
There's no compromise on allowing women to do
True.
what they have to do.
Income inequality.
And
Should we
trans men
compromise?
and non-binary
No, I
people.
think we should just have equality. I can
Compromise and fight.
He's not actually saying anything. He's just presenting regular arguments as if they're asinine without any counter argument. Oh, in videos like this, the interviewer never actually makes arguments because if they did, they get blown the fuck out. They only ask questions and then clip it together in a way to try to highlight hypocrisy on the part of the opponents without ever actually making a counter argument. This guy has never stated his position on compromise. This guy has never said what he'd be willing to compromise on. When was the last time you saw somebody from the Daily Wire say they'd be willing to compromise with Bernie Sanders or with a progressive? When was the last time? Never. Never. They never do it. The Republican Party has been stonewalling Congress for a fucking decade. They don't compromise ever. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is coming into office talking about how he's looking to reach across the aisle. The Democrats are the only ones weak enough to consistently attempt to engage in compromise with bad faith actors. Republicans don't, but then they accuse us of not being ones willing to compromise.
That's a heavy question. A compromise. Is there a compromise for? I can't think of one right now. Honestly, the 1% of this country are just way too have too much.
True.
No. You can't compromise. We
True.
don't want to compromise.
Can we
What I
compromise
mean.
on allowing income inequality?
Oh, no, 100%.
On issues that are important to you, you really
Wait, that one clipped away really quickly. She said, oh no, 100%. And the question was on income inequality. Now, I'm guessing that if they expanded on that a little bit longer, that woman is probably not saying everybody should make the same amount of money for every single job. So I'm guessing that was just either her misspeaking or mishearing or something like that. But they clip away from it instantly, so you never get time to think about it.
shouldn't compromise.
Yeah.
On issues that are important to you, you really shouldn't compromise.
Right. Yeah. And issues that are right for, like, society and humanity.
Okay, so yeah, maybe earlier I said compromising, but maybe now that you're making me see the
That's good. Yeah. I used to believe in compromise, but after interacting with a conservative, I'm really starting to doubt the viability of compromise. I really think that we should just tread on you as hard as we can and make life better in spite of your contrary protests. I really do think you basically just exist to make life worse for humans, and that compromising with you imposes needless misery and suffering where otherwise we could just be the ones running the show. Yeah, I think now that I've thought about it a little bit.
Do you think that we can unify with
Nah, fuck you.
Republicans? Like, is there a real way to do that?
Maybe in the far future.
True.
And
Oh, yeah.
right now there is, though.
You don't see any way to unify Republicans?
She just said in the far
No,
future.
Not to my knowledge.
Nice. And no explanation given, no follow-up, no context, just that's it. Democrats are so intolerant. Let's get the comments. I'm the most tolerant person. Immediately stereotypes every Republican is absolutely saying, yeah, no, they're so mean to me. I'll never understand why people spend their time hating one group. Hates exclusively Trump supporters. Yeah, hating fucking racial or sex groups is exactly the same as hating people with a political affiliation. So you're tolerant? Yes. Of Republicans? Well, no. Unironically, get this tattooed on my left fucking ass cheek, okay? So you're tolerant? Yeah. Of Republicans? No. Give it to me. Just fucking tattoo that on my forehead, okay? The biggest contradiction on this earth is the logic of leftists. I said, do you like being nice to people? You know, but you don't like me, even though I'm Adolf Hitler. God, fuck me, dude. I love how smug these brain dead ghouls are. Well, they have to be smug because smug is an act. Being smug is an act of sort of performative engagement. When you're smug, the goal of being smug is to convince your idiot fucking audience that they don't have to think about what the other person is saying. After all, if you're being smug, that probably means that the person you're being smug at or to is making arguments which don't even merit thought. So that's why they're smug. And the audience gets to clap like seals. Fucking low IQ, stupid piece of shit. Aren't I smug, though? Actually, if you watch my conversations, generally speaking, I'm pretty open and conciliatory to the people I talk to. The only times I'm smug are after, like, enough of a conversation to realize the person I'm talking to is lower than dog shit. Like, if I'm not arguing with a Nazi or something, like, 20 or 30 minutes into that, yeah, I'm gonna start being pretty smug. But yeah, like, they earn that, okay? They give that to me. They give me that right, that privilege.